What's up, everyone? Josh Clow here. Got a little bit of Dolphins news, and then I'm going to be discussing some Dolphin-related stuff, some to hold you guys over until the when training camp happens, which I'm going to be discussing real quick. The Dolphins has just announced their training camp schedule. So July 25th at 9:40 a.m. Eastern Time. So if you're Pacific Time like I am, it's going to be at 12:40 p.m. That's when the kickoff of training camp begins. And then the week and a half later is when the preseason begins. So July 25th at 9:40 a.m. Eastern Time is when the very first training camp for the Dolphins is going to happen. So big news on that. It is also open to the public too. So you can read all about it by all the beat writers that's going to be there. It might be some videos on it on the YouTube channel or I guess TV if you guys have that, NFL.com or NFL Network. So July 25th, keep that date in mind. That's the first day. And then second, because there's no football going on for the next couple of weeks, I'm just going to be debating on what NFL analysis wants to say about the Dolphins. I know there's a couple of things that you guys have probably seen and be like, what? So I'm just going to make my remarks on it and my opinions. Today I'm just going to be talking about an NFL analysis saying who's going to be the Dolphins 2019 MVP. And what's funny is they picked this guy, even though another NFL analysis had said something about him, which I'll make another video about. They're saying that Kenyon Drake is the second worst running back in the league. So that'll be another video where I'll rant and express my opinions on that. But they're saying about the Dolphins, who's going to be the 2019 MVP of the team, they picked out Kenyon Drake. Reading on it, he's on a contract year. He has so much to prove. He's under a new coach who, doesn't want to throw the ball 50 times a game. He might break out, and I do believe that. But you also want to put. I also had to put the position is there are other players on that team that could potentially be MVP. And I think there's three other guys that could potentially be MVP of the team. Xavier Howard, 7 interceptions, 12 games last season. He just got paid, so we don't really know what he's going to do. A lot of guys who gets paid, sometimes they just fall off because they just got their money. Other guys, they want to be Hall of Fame. So we don't know what we're going to get from Xavier Howard this year. I'm assuming that he's going to play on another Pro Bowl, hopefully All-Pro level. He was snubbed on the All-Pro last year, so if he can get 7 interceptions again this year, if not more, hopefully, he can see himself as the MVP of the Dolphins in an All-Pro nod. We haven't had one of those in a very long time. The other two guys are Kenny Stills. I think Kenny Stills, regardless who's going to be quarterback of the Dolphins, whether it's Josh Rosen or Ryan Fitzpatrick or any other guys that come in because of injuries or something like that, I think Kenny Stills is going to bust out 1,300 yards, maybe 10 touchdowns. He did okay with Ryan Tannehill. So, and like I said, I think that these two quarterbacks, Josh Rosen and Ryan Fitzpatrick, are slightly better than Ryan Tannehill. I think that Kenny Stills is going to have a fantastic year, and this is a year to sit down. Brian Flores will be like, should we keep Kenny Stills, or is it time to move on from him and find another deep threat type of guy? So Kenny Stills is going to ball out. He could also be potential MVP. And the third guy, which I think is going to be the MVP for the Dolphins, is going to be Laremy Tunsil. Last year, to my knowledge, he may have, the worst he had, he only gave up 1 sack all season. That could have been the Week 17 game when we just got obliterated by the Buffalo Bills, which I'm still mad about that game for the fact of how bad we were. Laremy Tunsil is probably all-pro consideration for the position he's in. 1 sack the whole year. He went 15 games without a sack, I believe. He is the next big, guy on the offensive line. Just not on the Dolphins, but in the NFL as a whole. He should get all-pro consideration, like I said. He should have gotten it last year. I don't know why he didn't get it. He got snubbed. Part of the fact that the Dolphins wasn't that great of a team, which, does put an effect for it. But Laremy Tunsil is probably the best player on the Dolphins right now. He is the anchor of the offensive line. He's probably going to be the reason why Ryan Fitzpatrick or Josh Rosen doesn't die this year. You know, having one of the worst offensive line in the last couple of years. He's on his final year on his deal, I believe. You know, other than the 5th-year option and stuff like that. So he is due up for a contract. He is going to be the highest paid offensive lineman, if not pretty near, second, maybe third. So, and he is the building block for the Dolphins. The Dolphins didn't clear $100 million in cap space not to re-sign people. They are going to re-sign people. Xavier Howard got re-signed. Laremy Tunsil is going to get re-signed. And then Kenyon Drake, when I first said has the, is going to be MVP, he's on a contract year. He has to break out. The only way I see Kenyon Drake really, being the MVP, he has to outsnap Balaj, which is possible, But I don't know what Brian Flores wants to do. He could be splitting them up. They could get 15 and 15 carries in the game, 10 and 10. I don't really know. Kenyon Drake does have the senior, he's more of the senior on the team. Granted, 4 years in, 4th year in the league, Balaj second. But he's more of a pass-catching running back, where Balaj is more of a Jay Ajayi type. He just runs in and breaks tackles, and if his speed comes out, he can make a big play like he did against the Vikings last year. So Kenyon Drake's gonna have to outsnap Kalen Balaj. He has to get comfortable with both quarterbacks. He has to be able to catch out, and he has to just break out. He has to be an every down back. He has to 4 to 5 yards a carry, and his fumble. He can't fumble a lot. He's been known of fumbling in big time decisions in games, definitely near the goal line. He also has to get more touchdowns through the goal line. He is really big at making long touchdown passes, but he has to get touchdown in the red zone, and that's where he could be losing his snaps to Kalen Balaj. Balaj could get about 10 touchdowns if we're in the red zone, which history has shown last year for Josh Rosen. Josh Rosen was the best quarterback in the red zone. They weren't in there a lot, but they never turned over the ball in the red zone. Josh Rosen hasn't turned over the ball in the red zone. I don't really know about all the other players, but to my knowledge, I don't think they turned over once. So if Josh Rosen's under center, our red zone offense should be pretty good. So you got to keep that in mind. But in my opinion, I think Laremy Tunsil is going to be the MVP for the Miami Dolphins next year, unless Kenyon Drake or Xavier Howard really just takes off and have Xavier Howard has a repeat of last season, and Kenyon Drake rushes or has like 1,600 yards from scrimmage and like 15 touchdowns from scrimmage. So that's my take on that. Next video, I'm going to be discussing about why Marquise Jones-Drew or Jones, whatever his name is, said that the Dolphins or Kenyon Drake is the 31st best running back in the league, or second worst in the league, and I'm going to be ranting and discussing on that. So keep a lookout for that video. It should come up in the next couple of days. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for your support. Thank you guys for watching the video. If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys subscribe. Like this video. Let me know anything down in the comments. How's the audio going? I know I got this little mic. I don't really know how it's been doing. If you got any questions, let me know down below. If you just want to say something, say something. If you just want to talk, I usually message back. So whatever you guys want to comment about, just comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on my thoughts on MVP for the Miami Dolphins, and what do you think, or who do you think is going to be MVP for the Miami Dolphins? With that, hope you guys have a great weekend, great Friday, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thank you very much.